Hey everybody, good afternoon, JC here. About to go do some Tesla FSD version 13.2.8 driving. Let's get on the road. Push the little blue button. Manage our way between my brother-in-law's GMC Sierra and the neighbor's GMC Yukon, ever so slowly, gently, and perfect. Great job. All right, continuing to navigate our way off of my street. Don't see any kids out right now. It is about 4:30 in the afternoon. Put on our right blinker to head out of the street. No oncoming cars, so we should be good. Actually, put on the left blinker, my bad. I want to say it may have rerouted us already. Interesting. Let's see here. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. And nothing wrong with that. But that's pretty normal. Like I said, it's actually, to be exact, it is 4:40 p.m. in the afternoon. So we do have rush hour traffic right now. So we're going to be at part of the most congested time. Got a Tesla Model Y, white Model Y over there coming into my neighborhood. Awesome. I'm sure I've seen them before. But definitely starting to see more onesies and twosies around here in Porter, Kingwood, New Caney, Humble, Atascocita. Like I've said before, if you go into Houston, go inside Houston, inside the loop, as they say, 610 loop, you'll see a good fair number of them. But out here, once you get about 25 to 30 miles outside of the city center, it starts getting pretty scarce. And then especially as you get here, about 35 to 40 miles outside, it becomes onesies and twosies. But nothing wrong with that. All right, we are actually going to go on down to Kingwood Drive. So let me go ahead and let you know what the plan is for today. So we are going to do another drive, a gauntlet, if you will, that I have not done in about 2 versions of Tesla FSD. So I haven't been out to our airport, the Houston George Bush Intercontinental Airport. The last time I was there was to drop off one of my sons to go back to San Diego. He's in the Marine Corps. And I was on version 13.2.2 at that point in time. And quite frankly, that wasn't even really a gauntlet. I just dropped him off at one of the terminals and came on home. And so I have not done a gauntlet of our airport in a number of months. And part of that is because we've had some things going on, been out of town, and just haven't really had the opportunity to kind of spend a couple hours. Well, I've had the opportunity, but I've done other things. But seeing that, I don't believe I was racking my head. I've gone to the airport a small handful of times when I was on version 13.2.2. But it was always to drop somebody off or pick them up. And so it wasn't truly like, you know, what I consider to be the most difficult gauntlet that we can do for FSD in the Houston area, which is our airport, and trying to pick up or drop somebody off at each of the terminals. I want to say that I'm racking my head to did I ever even, have I done it on version 13? I've been to the airport on version 13, but I think the last time I really ran the Gauntlet out there may have been on the final instance of version 12. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, I ought to go ahead and whenever I do get an opportunity to go on and run the Gauntlet, see how this software is doing, and to put some table stakes there for any of y'all who have not watched. If you've been a subscriber of mine, or you on YouTube, or you followed me on X for a while, you know I've done these before. So generally speaking, I like to go out to our airport and run the Gauntlet at least once with each software update that we get, just to see, because that's where you can really see if there's any improvements, and I'm going to go into why. But yeah, I know I haven't done it on 13.2.8 yet. I did not do it on 13.2.7 because, quite honestly, I only had 13.2.7 for a week, and I was out of town in Kansas for most of that. So didn't do it on, and like I said, I have been to the airport on 13.2.2 a small handful of times, but again, every single time was specifically because I needed to either drop somebody off at the airport, like my wife or my son or my brother-in-law, or to pick somebody off, those same individuals. All right, we can turn right on red here. We were a little hesitant there. Not sure why it hesitated. It hesitated probably about a second or two more. So we are on Kingwood Drive now. So it actually rerouted us. We were, I believe, originally going to go out the back way, either the back way or North Park, and it rerouted us all the way down here to Kingwood Drive. So that's pretty interesting. So the traffic on North Park must have been pretty abysmal. So yeah, we are heading out to the airport. Now, let me explain a couple of things, just to put table stakes down for anybody that's fairly new to following or subscribing to me. Number one, why? Why the Houston George Bush Intercontinental Airport, JC? Why is that the big enchilada for Houston? The reasons why. The reasons why are, number one, it's our airport, right? So if you're thinking about a robo-taxi future, you know, cyber cabs, Model Ys, Model 3s running around autonomously in a rideshare network in just about any city, but especially the city of Houston, the airport's going to be central to that, right? Because this is an international city, and so we're going to have folks flying in and out of Houston constantly. It's not just an international city, but our airport is one of the 5 busiest in the country. So we're not as busy as Chicago O'Hare or Atlanta Hartsfield or DFW, the airport there. But, and maybe not even, I mean, LAX is pretty busy too. But I'll tell you what, Houston George Bush Intercontinental is in that same conversation. We're in that top 5. In fact, I want to say I grokked it maybe a few weeks ago, and I want to say Houston George Bush Intercontinental is busier than JFK or LaGuardia. LaGuardia, that doesn't surprise me, because LaGuardia, might come as a surprise to some people, but it's not a very big airport. JFK is pretty good size, but believe it or not, George Bush Intercontinental is actually busier than JFK. And part of the reason for that is because we're really the first point of demarcation for just about everybody in Latin America. So if you're coming from South America or Central America or Mexico, you're coming through Houston. and we've got one of the biggest locations for, customs. Our customs floor at Terminal E is bigger than some people's airports. I mean, it's huge. So that's a big part of it, is that when you think about travel from Latin America, I mean, we are the hub for that. Houston is the primary point of demarcation for anybody coming from South America, Central America, or Mexico. All right, crossing over the railroad tracks through the light here. Coming up, we're going to slow down a bit first because of the congestion, but we're coming up. We're probably about 100 yards away from the intersection of the 59 East Tex Freeway and Kingwood Drive. And as you can see, it's kind of getting congested here, and we do need to stay over to the left because we are going to be going underneath the bridge and turning left to get up on 59 East Tex Freeway going southbound towards the airport. Will Clayton Parkway to be specific. But going back to our airport, so you think about it, every city, regardless of how large or small, the airport's going to be a big part of any sort of robotaxi, autonomous robotaxi network. Number two, the Houston George Bush Intercontinental Airport just happens to be one of the top 5 busiest in the country, and the busiest for Latin American travel. And then number 3 is just the immense amount of construction at our airport. So one day, all of the construction at our airport will be done. One day. But that day is not today. It's a lot better. So they started major construction at our airport probably about 2 years ago. And my guess is they probably still have a solid year and a half, maybe even 2. I'm hoping a year to a year and a half left. So today looks a lot better than it did 12 months ago. 12 months ago, it looked like Beirut in 1983. It was tore up from the floor up. It is a lot better today. I will give it that. But it is still under major construction. So we still have areas that are being constructed. And to dovetail on that, because of all the construction, a lot of terminals have changed. And a lot of the roads into and out of the terminal drop-off points and arrival points have changed. And Google Maps really hasn't kept up. So it's also an area where you can't rely on Google Maps. You can't rely on regular preset destinations in Tesla navigation. You gotta set manual pins. So this is also a test of how well right now, from a human perspective, am I at setting manual pins. So in no way, shape, or form is that really a test of the FSD system, except for the fact that ultimately you are going to have construction at major locations from time to time. And in an autonomous robotaxi world, you're going to have to be able to keep up with that, right? You're not just going to be able to preset a destination in any sort of navigational system such as Google Maps or Waze or Tesla navigation and then just rest on your laurels. You can't. You're going to have to continuously update that. So that's going to be a little bit of a test of that. All right, we've gone underneath the bridge. We're getting onto the on-ramp for 59 East Tex Freeway going southbound. By the way, we've done a great job during the FSD drive thus far. So yeah, that's kind of why I choose our airport as one of our most important gauntlets that I do. And so this will be the first time for me to go to the airport whatsoever on 13.2.8. And it will be the first time for me to run the full gauntlet at the airport on version 13. So, one thing I'm going to be curious about, and when I finish up talking about our airport, then I'll talk about how I've designed the gauntlet. Give you a heads up there too. But one other thing I wanted to bring up about our airport, one other thing that made it super difficult was because of all of the major construction taking place at the airport, both the buildings and the roads, it required there to be a heavy police presence on the streets, on the roads outside of the terminals. So, for instance, just as an example, at Terminal E, for a pretty long period of time, all of the Terminal E arrivals, both Terminal C and Terminal E, well, not both, all three, and Terminal D arrivals, basically you got picked up off the side of the road at Terminal E. And it was a cluster, you know what. And because of that, they had to have a humongous police presence outside of Terminal E and Terminal C. The other terminals weren't so bad. Like Terminals A, B, and D didn't have to have as much of a police presence. But anytime you even sniff Terminal C and E, you are definitely going to go through at least a dozen police officers on the ground, on the road, by your car, and in front of your car. And so, as you can imagine, as you're trying to test out FSD, that presented its own set of difficulties. Like, how well is this software doing in and amongst police officers screaming at you, telling you to get over this way, and then telling you to get over that way, and then telling you to stop, and a second later screaming at you to go. And believe me, by no means at all am I throwing any shade at those police officers, because they were doing a tremendous job. But you can imagine they were just under significant amounts of stress out there, right? They're trying to keep people alive because they're literally being dropped off on a road where people are coming through at 30 or 40 miles an hour. So they're trying to get people into and out of there while also keeping them alive, while also keeping themselves alive. So I saw that many a time going through there where you would see police officers damn near get hit 2 or 3 times every time I was out there. Fortunately for me, just personally, as a bystander, as somebody watching in my Tesla, I never saw that. But I know it's happened. I know some of those police officers were unfortunately hit by vehicles. Fortunately, no severe injuries, no deaths or fatalities or even major injuries, but it's happened. My understanding, and so that's why I wanted to circle back and say I'll be interested this go around, is I'll be interested to see how much of that is still remaining at Terminal C and E. Hopefully not any. Hopefully we've gotten to a point with the status of the construction of both the buildings and the roads that everybody's being dropped off and picked up at a protected location that no longer needs a heavy police presence. There's always going to be like TSA presence out there, just like any airport, even if you don't have any construction whatsoever. You're always going to have some sort of TSA presence and maybe even a couple of police officers, out on the curb, but not like it was here. Like, there was one time where I can remember doing the Gauntlet, gosh, this was probably 9 months ago, maybe 6-9 months ago. And I counted it up after I got home. I was just so overwhelmed with it. I wasn't keeping count at the time because obviously I was laser focused on not hitting any of them and getting to, watching out for the software and getting into each destination. But the total amount of police officers we either went by or that were somewhere around within 5 feet of our vehicle, it was 28. 28. Not at one terminal, right? Because my Gauntlet goes to all the terminals. But still, 28. It was like that. I mean, that's just abnormal, right? And I'm not talking about police officers up on a curb. Like I said, I didn't even count those. I was like, how many police officers were literally within 5 feet of my vehicle? Literally less than a human being's distance from my vehicle, where the software would have picked them up and it would have impacted how the software reacts. And it was 28. So I think the last time I did the Gauntlet, which was probably sometime in late 2024, so maybe 3 months ago, probably about 3 months ago, the level of construction was already getting a lot better at that point. And so I want to say we only went through 6 or 7 police officers. But again, I just wanted to give you a flavor for how bad it was. All right. Our lane selection here is not that great. We're going to need to get over to the middle lane, just like that. There you go. Just like that Chevy Suburban in front of us. And we did it. Good job. But I don't know why it waits till the very last moment to get over to the middle lane. I think what's happening is now that we've gotten past that intersection here we're still on Will Clayton Parkway. So obviously, as you can see, we're going into the airport. And in about 3/4 of a mile here, we need to veer to the left. And I think that may be part of it, is that because it knows it eventually needs to veer to the left, it's just basically staying to the left. I'm not really sure it has anything to do with the fact that I'm on the hurry mode. It could. I mean, that might be something but it always gets over to the middle lane when we need to. We've never gotten into any trouble with it, but I just, waiting till the very last moment, So, let me explain the Gauntlet then. So what I do to try to put it into as similar to what and this is in my humble opinion, this is not based off of any statistical data or anything that Tesla has said or anything that anybody else does. Just based off of my 55 years on the planet, having been at a lot of airports, knowing how it works, is I always start off at the rental car center. And the rental car center at the Houston airport is vast. It's huge. And so when I think about robo-taxis, autonomous cybercabs and robo-taxis, they're definitely going to want to have places around the city where they can be staged and washed, cleaned, vacuumed out, whatever, basically almost have like a taxi hub type of thing. And if there was, that's going to be several places around a city. But I gotta believe that one of them, and probably the biggest one, would be somewhere around every major airport. Just seems like it would make the most sense to me. So when you think about it, well, what are some of the biggest centralized areas around airports that already have a lot of vehicles? And it's rental car centers, right? So I always start off the Gauntlet at the rental car center. And that is where we are headed first. So what we're gonna do is, sun coming in here, we are going to the rental car center right now. So that is actually our first destination that we have in the Tesla navigation right now. All right, moving on through. There you see the sign for the rental car. You see the tarmac, the airport tarmac to our right. Progressing on through here. All right. So yeah, I always start off at the rental car center. And then once we get parked and staged at the rental car center, that is essentially where we start the gauntlet. And we go to all 5 of the terminals. And just back to back to back to back to back. And just see how, like, do I need to do any critical interventions? Right? Do I need any non-critical? And the reason why I go to all 5, back to back to back to back to back, all that, all the backs. All right, why are we need to stay over here. Like, that's the rental car set. Why did we get, I don't know why. That's interesting. Unless, let me see what it does here. Yeah, so that's interesting. I would have thought we would have gotten off right there. Granted, it's no harm, no foul. We can get over to the rental car center's over there. So we can keep going down to get over there as well. And it did. I guess it rerouted on us. But generally speaking, the way I go is you get off on that feeder road right there. Yeah. And you just go down the feeder and see the bridge we're about to go over here. I believe this is it. Yeah, you would then turn left right here, go underneath the bridge, and the rental car center is right there. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like I said, we're going to turn around right up here. But I don't know why it just didn't do that. That's interesting. I wonder if there's some sort of construction right there. But it had it for us to go there, and then it rerouted. You saw us. We were in the lane to get over, and then it rerouted us. So I don't know if to call that a lane selection issue, or if that's just the system saying, no, I just want to reroute you. Because the navigation that it's got up there right now, it did that. I was on there as we were getting out of that lane. So I don't know. Again, not a lot of big whoop, because we're going to get up here and turn around. So we're going to do a U-turn. There we go, right up here. So yeah, we're going to go to the rental car center. Then we're going to go to all 5 of the terminals. We do have 5 terminals. And I like to go to all of them. And let me concentrate on this right here. All right, we're going into the U-turn lane. We have a stop sign up here, but as soon as we have a gap, we can take it. It's going to be tough to find a gap right now because traffic is fairly heavy right here. Let's see. But yeah, while we're waiting. So yeah, I like to do I do them back to back to back to back instead of just, going to one, coming back to the rental car. So like not doing a drop off. Because, I could see, yeah, probably have cyber cabs wrote like, 1 to 2 passenger, cyber cabs doing passenger pickup and drop off. But I could also see larger vehicles that almost similar to the rental car shuttles or hotel shuttles that you see at the airport today. So in my gauntlet, I just go ahead. There we go. We got a gap. We take it. Great job. So I just do them back to back to back and on there like that. Plus it saves time. I don't want to keep coming back. So yeah, as we do that, we'll see how the software is doing with lane selection, pedestrians, getting through drop-off points, getting through arrival points, all of that stuff. Now, let me go ahead and say on behalf of the software, the majority of the pins in the system, except for one, I believe, I think 4 of the 5 terminals we're going to, I had to do a manual pin. Like I said, because Google Maps and navigation, Tesla navigation, has not caught up yet with where construction is at the airport. So essentially, all of the exact points for arrivals and destinations are manual pins that I have set. So I'm going to let you know if it's doing something because of my human error. I'm going to obviously point that out. But if it's doing something weird, inconsistent, or not good that has nothing to do with my manual pin, I'm going to call that out too. Like if it has nothing to do with the destination and it's just not reacting correctly to other vehicles, to pedestrians. So, like the way it acts around pedestrians and police officers should have nothing to do with navigation, right? Nothing to do with my pin. Your job is to not hit them, but continue to move on through when it's safe and everybody would agree we can do it. All right. Coming up to the rental car center. And so the first thing we'll do is, as we come into the rental car parking spot, we'll just see what the FSD software does in here if it tries to park us. Man, it's not a lot of spots to park. There are a few, but it's pretty busy in here, as is normal. In fact, we got a little bit of a backup here. Looks like well, we'll just let the software do its thing until it decides not to. Yeah, so we got a little bit of a backup up here. Let's see how we handle this. All right, we're going to go around them. Good job. So we didn't just sit here and try to stick around and get stuck behind them. But what are we going to do? All right, so let's go ahead and park. Yeah, see, he's getting on people's nerves here. Everybody honking at him. Like, get the hell out of the way, dude. What are you doing? Look at that lady's like, dummy, you big dummy. All right, so we were not able to, it wasn't able to park on its own, but quite frankly, I wasn't surprised with that as much. Look at the congestion in here that was going on there. I suspected that was what's going to happen. Fortunately, it went around that truck that was holding everybody up there. I don't know where, and now he's over there. But then once it got there, it just basically dropped us off here at the visitor center parking lot. So I did an Autopark, and it auto-parked really well too. Like, that truck was not given a lot of space to, here you had these parking spots over here, and that truck was just decided he was going to take up the entire lane. And that Autopark is good, I'm telling you. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and start? Oh, look at this, we got another Model 3, same color as mine coming through. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and get the Gauntlet started. Let me see here. There we go. See if it'll come out of here. There we go. Starting to Give her a wave. She gave me a wave. Yep. We commiserated on the dude over there in his Ford F350, I think. Taking up the entire visitor center parking lot. All right, we're coming out of the parking lot right now. We have started the Gauntlet. So the first destination is Terminal D. Terminal D is either the busiest or the second busiest, depending on the time of day and what's going on. But the two busiest, or I should say the three busiest terminals, because it can change off and on. Terminal D, Terminal C, and Terminal E. So Terminal D is where almost all international departures take place from. So interestingly, there's no arrivals at Terminal D. Terminal D only has a departure area. If you arrive internationally into Houston, everyone goes through Terminal E. And I know there's a lot of people going like, JC, why would we care about this? But hey, you're on the ride I'm explaining our terminals to you. So you fly out, like I would say 95% of all international departures out of Houston, if you're going anywhere outside the U.S., about 90 to 95% is going to be out of Terminal D. It is the international terminal. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to go to that one first. Then after Terminal D, I believe we're going to either Terminal E or we're going to B, E, C, A, B, and then back to the rental car center. All right. So making our way towards the terminals now. We've left the rental car center. We are on JFK, which is one of the two main roads going into and around our airport. Will Clayton Parkway is one of them. That's the one we came in on. Now we are on JFK, coming the other way out of the rental car center. Starting to make the loop towards the terminals. Go. So Terminal D departures. Let's see how we do. And we will go ahead and let the software do its thing once we get there. Kind of like what we did at the rental car center. Just let it do its thing. All right. Continuing along the loop here. We're about to do one more pretty wide loop. And then we'll start the path towards... Now, I don't know why it's got its right blinker on here. You don't have to get over here. There you go. See, that's kind of interesting. It wants to get over to the... Well, you know what? Actually, I stand corrected. It does need to be like, once we make this loop around here, Terminal D is to the right. So Terminal D is to the right. Terminal C and E are to the left on each side of this particular road coming in. So I stand corrected on that one. All right. Finishing out the loop here. There you can see terminals C and D. Going by the big bus. Handling that well. Terminal D departures. Now we're going to have to get all the way over to the right here fairly quickly. All right, we've gotten over one. Let's see how we do here. Let's see how we do. All right, we're coming into Terminal D, but I think we need to get over another one. Or do we? Actually, I think we're good here. Let's see what it does here. Continuing to move on through. All right, we got pedestrians. We need to stop. There we go. Good job. Good job. All right, let's see. Very good job, FSD. All right, now it's getting over. It's finding a spot, I think. Let's see. Let's see how it does. All right, but don't block the crosswalk. Get past the crosswalk. All right, good job, but it did. Our back tires are on the crosswalk, so I'm going to move it up a bit. Let me move it up. Actually, I could have just kept going there. Well, I don't know why I did that. Let's make sure here. All right, so that was great. We stopped for those folks in the crosswalk, and it got over to the side here at Terminal D to drop somebody off. The only bad part is our two back tires were on the crosswalk, so it didn't go far enough up. But that's not, I mean, that's not a huge deal right there, because you're dropping people off. You could technically drop people off right around the crosswalk. All right, let's get going. We're going to Terminal E now. All right, put on our blinker, let people know we're coming out. Get around those individuals. There we go. Let's see how we do. Continuing to move on through. Get over to the left. All right, still trying to get to the left. See if we can do it. All right, it's going to stay here. Let's just see what this is able to do here. All right, we're going to keep going. Good job. Did not go into parking. That's one of the things I wanted to make sure. We do not want to park, and you don't want to get stuck in the lane for parking, for sure. There you go. We need to get over. Good job. Going past. I think that is Terminal C right there that we're going past. We've been doing a great job here with this road construction, with pedestrians. We're going to have to get over again. There we go. Good job. And I believe, let's see, what is that? Yeah, that's, so I'm going to keep going on. Oh. Yeah. No. So they switched up on us. That was my manual pin issue. Let me see. So, as you can see there, I thought Terminal E pickup was right over there, and it was not anymore. It's, so let me just see what, let's see what, is it gonna take us back, or where is it taking us to? I just want to see. Oh. try something here. Edit trip, add. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's kind of tough I screwed up on, so that Terminal D was good to go. My pin for Terminal E, not so much. Not so much. I messed up on the pin. I just don't know. We're gonna have to once we get back over to the Terminal E area, I'm gonna try to set another pin. And if I can't get it this time, then just is what it is. Let's see. Where is it going right now? Yep. Yeah, I think this may do it. We'll see. We'll see. I am just concentrating right now just to make sure that I've got it. I didn't screw anything up. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just so much construction that it's tough. Let's see. Because it took us to the pin I put, but I thought that Terminal E arrivals was still, like I said, every time you come out here, and it's a good thing. They have updated, they've gotten better with the amount of construction, so they switched up. Let me just, while I'm looking here, I think that will, let me see if, let's do it right there. Now that, we should be good now. We should be good. Let's see. We should be, we'll see. Doing a great job here. More road construction, but we do need to, what are we gonna do here? Sorry folks, I know y'all like to have the full visual. All right, let's make sure we're good here. We're good still. And let's do it. Yeah, good job. Good job. Awesome. Awesome. Ooh, Lord. There was almost a wreck right there. Lord, that lady. She may want to go get her brakes checked out here pretty soon. So, now look at her. She almost hit that car. Now she's going to get up there and... Anywho. So, it got us to Terminal E, but it got us to my manual pin that I set at Terminal E coming out of Terminal D, and it's kind of weird. So I reset it a bit. I think this should get us to Terminal E arrivals. Well, let's just, and if it doesn't, I promise I'm not going to go around the airport 18 times trying to get to Terminal D. What it'll tell me is if it doesn't get us there this time, then we know for right now that you're going to have to do a little bit of manual non-critical intervention just to get into Terminal E. That's the level of road construction that we have right now. But I think we can get in there with this one. Let's see. I'm trying to do as much as I can hands-free, folks. That's what this Gauntlet testing is for. And then after that, I think we've got 2 more terminals. Because obviously you got C. And then A and B are kind of right together. I want to say I don't put both of those in there because that's a fairly easier part of the airport anywho, but I'll check and see. Maybe do both of those as well. All right, there we go. Terminal E, arrivals. So let's see how well this pin did for us. Let's just see. All right, so far so good. We're staying in the Terminal E line. So far, so good. Excellent, excellent. All right, we are in Terminal E. We made it. We made it to Terminal E. All right. All right, let's see how we do in here. Well, now that we made it to Terminal E, let me get ready to... Yeah. Because I don't need to pick anybody up or drop anybody off, but it got us to Terminal E. Now, let's see how we do getting through here. Oh, we do have some police officers. We do have some police officers. Let's see, is it gonna, there we go. Change it up. Let's go in there. Going good. How you doing, sir? All right. Staying in this lane. Let's see how we do here. Oh. There we go, we got us here. Work. All right, should be, is it going? Oh, because that police officer's right there. Let's see. Well, we got the cars in front of us too. Let's see how we do here. Right. Moving up, but we got the police officer in front. So we're gonna, let's see how we do here. Let's see how we do. Awesome! Great job, great job. All right. We'll roll that. Actually, I'm gonna roll both of them down. Let's see how we do here with this police officer. Great job. Awesome. All right, now we got one more. Let's get past him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, doing good, doing good, doing good. Let's keep going, let's keep going. You're doing good. No, don't stop. Don't stop. He's not coming at you. There you go. Great job. All right. We still got one more. Oh man, you're doing so good. Come on now. Come on now. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. Let's be progressing on through. Got another police officer there and a very tight turn right here. Man, this is a tight turn. Keep going. You got it. You got it. You got it. Wow. Great job, Tesla FSD. All right. Where's our next stop? Looks like we're going to Terminal B now. There we go. And I think, let's see what our edit trip, let's see. We got, oh shoot, we got Terminal B. Yep. Terminal B and A are basically right close to each other. That's why I just put, so we've handled Terminals D, E, and C, because C and E are right together. They're basically that where we just went through, that is Terminal C and E area. So I'm not trying to do, 10 different drop. I'm doing one for each. So we got C, we've covered C, D, and E over there. And then over here, I selected, did I select B? Yeah, we'll just see how B does. All right, let's just see. Let's just see. There we go. Man, I'm actually so jazzed that it got into Terminal E. So now I know the pin. I know the right pin for now. But that looks like that. Whoa, what the heck is that guy doing stopping on that? Man, the heck he's doing? So yeah, we're going to do Terminal B, which so the smaller half of our airports are Terminal A and B. They're basically the regional travel. And I chose Terminal B because that's the busiest of the two. And so each time I come out here, I may switch it up. I thought I had put both Terminal A and B in here, but let's do B, and I think we should be good with that, because if we can do B, you can do A. I mean, they're basically identical. And they should not have the level of police officers here. That was awesome. You saw how it went through Terminal E. It went through those police officers like butter. Now, let me rephrase that. That didn't sound good. It respected every single one of those police officers, those sheriff's deputies, but it didn't get the hibby-jibbies. Oh, got a Model Y right there. Beautiful. I like that with the charcoal, but then also the red emblem, the red. All right, let me concentrate on this instead of the Model Y for a second. All right, we got Terminal B. We need to keep going straight here. Keep going straight. There you go. Come on, keep going straight. No, we got people up here don't know what the heck they're doing. All right. I don't want to go to parking, though. Let's make sure we're getting up. Let's see. Let's make sure we're... Nope. Oh, I set the wrong pin. Wait, did I? Let me see. If I can get... I think I can. There we go. Oh, was Terminal A. I put a pin for... All right, let's end that trip. So we got up to Terminal A. I screwed up that pin. That's what it was. Let's see how we do going through here. So we got to Terminal A, not Terminal B. Sorry. Well, change your flight. All right, let's navigate to the rental car. Oh, we got pedestrians. Oh, I was about to I would have been going. I did not see those pedestrians to my left there. Great job, Tesla FSD. All right, so we got up to Terminal A. Obviously, I need to redo my pin for Terminal B. But I'm telling you, Terminal B is essentially just like this. It's just about 100 feet over that way. So we got both sides of the airport. We got D, E, C, and now we've gotten all the way up to Terminal A. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to redo the pin for Terminal B. That obviously was wrong. Let me see something here while we're here, just so I can. Something was wrong with that one. Yeah, that was my fault. Now I see where it should have been. We just came out of Terminal A. Let me do something here. We're going back. I'm not leaving without doing Terminal B. We're going to figure out where that... I think I just reset the pin. Sorry, folks. Everybody was like, no, we were done, JC. You got out of there with no interventions. You did it. Why are you going back? Why? Because we're out here to play the game. We're not out here to try to get no interventions. We're out here to make sure that as long as you've got a good pin, baby, you can autonomously get people into and out of our airport. We're gonna, well, first of all, I'm gonna pay attention a little more too, just to make sure it doesn't. All right, we're gonna have to slow down a bit and yield. That's good. Very good. I'm gonna wait a second. Still got on cut. There we go. We got an opportunity. Great job. Good job. All right. Now what I'm going to do while I got a chance here, I'm pretty sure that is, hold on a second. Am I taking it to the right spot? I could be screwing this all up. I could be wrong here. Let me just, as we get closer up, so that was I think that's right. I think that's Terminal B. See, they don't even have anything up here for it. It's like, so forgive me, folks. I know I don't have my normal FSD user interface up right now like y'all like, but I'm trying to get us up to B. All right. All right, let's make sure. I think I've got it right. I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. We're about to find out. All right, yeah, we're going. See, that's what it used to be. That's that used to be it. Look at all that construction over there. It is just tore up from the floor up. All right, we already went into Terminal A. Let's go past that. There you go. Let's go past it. Let's go past it. Good job. There we go. But get over one, but do not get up on that ramp. We already went to A. Don't go to the ramp. Good job. All right, now let's see how we do. And don't go left here. I don't, but where is it? No, that's a right. Where did they get rid of Terminal B? Let me put something in here so it knows where to go. Where did Terminal B go? Interesting. I think they put Terminal A and B together now. They've taken it off the map. Maybe that was... All right, slowing down. Sorry, folks. Y'all are like, JC, can you pay attention? I think they've put A and B together. Yeah, well, that other terminal is just, that's what it is. I screwed up, people. I screwed up. And let me before I say anything more, let's get past here. Please stop for, yeah, y'all need to yield. I've got the right of way. I figured it out. I figured it out. That pin was not wrong. It's just that Terminal B is like under the most severe amount of construction you could possibly have right now. And we're about to, that's it right there. That's what it was. That's what it was. They've moved on to Terminal B. So that's what it was. Okay. So we were not wrong. It just doesn't exist right now. Look at it. That's where we were trying to go. Yeah, that wouldn't have worked. That would have been difficult. So now we know. So we can now say definitively, all right, man, these people, thank God for FSD. I'm telling you. Do you see all this going on around? They don't know what to do. But I can definitively say we have gone to all of the terminal areas where you would either be dropped off or depart from for both sides of the airport right now with the level of, there used to be a terminal, that place that's like literally under severe, looks like it got bombed out, looks like it's part of Ramallah in the late 2000s. That was Terminal B, and it basically doesn't exist right now. So my bad on that one, but you're just not going to know unless you come out here, and Google Maps doesn't know. So, but the places that are done with construction, whoa, all right, that was a good maneuver, but man, that was there's some, I'm telling you, I think it had a chance to figure it out that it was supposed to get out here instead of go up there and do a UE. But I think we know enough now to know that there's probably a little bit of a lane selection issue right there with the off-ramp to get on this feeder road that goes to the rental car center. So I will note that. So that's why I believe that's why it didn't get off the first time, because there was, not only it was not picking it up till the end, there was too much traffic going by. And so it went ahead and just did a UE. That one, there was an opportunity to do it. There was nobody to our side, nobody right on our tail behind us, so it had the opportunity to do it. But you saw how quickly it did that maneuver. It was like right at the last second. And it did it. But I'm not going to lie. That one was like, for a second there, I thought that FSD was getting out of the way of somebody who was having issues to our left. But that was not the case. It just finally figured out it needed to get on that off-ramp. And since there wasn't anybody beside us or behind us or around us, it just did it. Just fine. But give a brother some heads up. Let a brother know. Because that one came out of nowhere. All right, thank good. All right, well, I'll tell you what. This was the best gauntlet ever. Well, let's get into the parking lot first. As long as we can get into that part of the parking lot without a critical intervention or a non-critical intervention not involving parking, this will be the best result from an airport gauntlet. All right, let's see what we do here. Let's see what we do. You gonna try to park, or you just gonna drop us off again? I was gonna try to park this time. Are you? We go. All right. End trip. Head home. Now let's head on home. Everybody, give a round of applause to Tesla. Full self-driving, supervised, version 13.2.8. Because what I can tell you definitively is that is the first time that I have run this gauntlet that I have had 0 non-critical interventions and 0 critical, 0 critical interventions and 0 non-critical interventions. It took me to every single one of my pins unscathed. Nothing. No need for human involvement. Then, on top of that, once I did notice that a few of my pins were entered with human error, this human, once I noticed that and decided, well, let's just try this again. Now that I have better intel, now that you drove me out here and I see better, and I dropped a different pin, it went back there and did it perfectly. So what I can tell you is that on Tesla FSD supervised version 13.2.8, as we sit here on February 27th in the year of our Lord, Anno Domini 2025, that this software will get you into the airport, all around the airport, drop you off, pick you up, and then take you back out of the airport with 0 human involvement, as long as you got good navigation. If you set the correct pin, it's going to do it. But you do have to have a good pin setting, because it's going to take you to what, if you're using manual pins, which you have to out here. Look at that. Look ahead of you. We literally got 2 that was Terminal B. That's where we were see those 2 huge cranes? That's where I was trying to go to drop somebody off at the airport. That obviously was not going to work. But you're not going to know that until you come out here. So as soon as we set a proper pin, it was good to go. And man, I'm going to tell you what it was able to do at Terminal E, I mean, I'm going to clip that part out, because that was phenomenal right there. That was just absolutely phenomenal how it was able to maneuver through those police officers. And in fact, we had a couple of police officers in front of us that it continued to move through with. So that's great. Let me get a swaller of my of my go-go juice. That's awesome. Awesome. God, I'm just so happy about that. Well, we got a left lane ending here. I won't be happy if I end up on the curb here. We need to merge, baby girl. There we go. Come on. Merge up. Merge up. There we go. Let me give them a little wave. Say thank you. Yeah, I will tell you this. On hurry mode, she'll be aggressive. Oh. What never mind. I was going to use a analogy to describe certain young ladies that are they got chutzpah, if you will, chutzpah. We used to have a saying that how tough, somebody say, how tough is that girl? She go, she'll cut up. And I'll leave it. The last word rhymes with itch. So imagine the word itch or ditch. But instead of those two words, you use another word to say, she'll cut up. And on the hurry mode, Tesla FSD will cut your itch for you. She will cut an itch or a ditch or a witch. And you know none of those three words are the ones I was referring to. Yeah, that was awesome. Very first time to have zero interventions of any kind. What would be nice though is once they've got the construction done and you don't have to do manual pins, to where I don't even have to do anything with the screen. It just keeps on going. And I don't have to like be here like an air traffic controller trying to redo stuff. So I will say that as good as it did at the airport, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to have some sort of, I don't know what it's going to be. And there's probably folks in our community a lot smarter than me about what you would need to make sure that you've got the exact right pin every day based on where they're at with construction. And somebody's going to have to do that. And I mean, that would be a daily thing you'd have to do, is to make sure that the pins for each of the terminals are still correct. Now see, I bet you for all of y'all, most of y'all out there, wherever y'all live, you ain't got to worry about that, right? Like your airport, wherever the terminal you go to most of the time. I bet you that terminal was there 6 months ago. And I bet you 6 months ago, it was there 6 months before that. Hell, it may have been there 5 years ago. And it hadn't changed a bit. And God bless you. You're not going to have to worry about any of that. But here in Houston, we've still got to have that as part of it. But the lead story, the big takeaway, the big enchilada is that this was the first time that I got through the Intercontinental Airport of Houston, Texas Gauntlet with zero interventions, critical or non-critical. And now my hand hurts. Look at that. I did a John Stewart. Well, at least I did it with a plastic one. And not a, I didn't nearly kill myself with a coffee mug. So that's good. I'm just happy. Can y'all tell I'm happy? Man, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'm telling you, I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's just like, it's one of those things. It's just like, wow. As many times as I've run that gauntlet, and as many difficulties as that airport throws at this technology each and every time I come out here, I can't ever get through the thing without one critical intervention somewhere and maybe a couple of non-criticals. Fortunately, well, I did. I take that back. I had a critical intervention out at the airport. God, how long ago was that? Was that probably about a month ago? On one of my trips on 13.2.2, I had a critical intervention. And so that was gone. And we went down the exact same spot. And it did not try to go the wrong way on that one way. So that was great. So we saw that. But yeah. So no critical ones. So that's always good. That's the main one, right? At the end of the day, the non-critical stuff they can do, like, you know, teleoperation, or I don't know, they can do all sorts of things with that. That part of it I'm just not as concerned with. But the critical ones, obviously, right? Didn't have any of those. But it didn't have any non-criticals either. Like, it got through those police officers. I did not touch my accelerator one time going through all those police officers at Terminal E. Terminal D. So let's go back through. Post-mortem. So our first stop was Terminal D. Perfect. Got all, it made all the right lane selection decisions. Got over to the right side of the terminals to get to Terminal D. It got past some of the parked cars there. I thought it was going to keep on going through Terminal D, and I didn't realize what it was doing. It was getting around those cars and finding a better place to park. The only little nuance, it's not a non-critical intervention thing, but just nuance thing, is when it parallel parked alongside Terminal D departures, my back tires were on that crosswalk. Right. So technically you're not supposed to do. So I did move the car up a few feet. Honestly, I probably didn't even have, as I thought about it later, I was like, well, crap, we were just going to keep on going. So why even do that? I should have just pushed the button to keep on going. But anywho, I wanted to call that out. So had I been actually dropping off a passenger and spending 30 to 60 seconds there, dropping somebody off, saying bye, all that sort of stuff, I would have needed to move the car up about 2 to 3 feet to get out of that crosswalk fully. But man, that's nuance. Then the first time we tried to go to Terminal E, I had the wrong pin. So I screwed up the pin. It took me exactly to where my pin was, but I had, if you saw there, I had to reset the pin. But once I knew that Terminal E arrivals were no longer on the side, so just so you know, when I was resetting that pin, if you'd have looked over to my left side, that's where they were dropping people off. Like literally right there on the road. So thankfully, they've got them in a protected area now. But once it got to the pin, I was able to pretty quickly put in new navigation and, put in a new pin for Terminal E and C actually that Terminal E arrivals, that's actually like not just Terminal E and C, Terminal D arrivals come in there too. So that's why I was so happy about that one, because that, quite frankly, is the busiest arrival section. And man, when we came back through Terminal E, it was just picture perfect. It went through there. It parked first, like we were picking people up. And then once we picked them up, got back out, and it handled, I want to say, I'm trying to count, it was either 4 or 5 police officers perfectly. Then we went to the other side of the airport, and we went to Terminal Terminal A departures. That was good to go. And I think we had 1 police officer there. We handled that well. And we handled, I remember that there were pedestrians that came up to our left side that I didn't see. And it handled that well. And then we found out, lo and behold, Terminal B is it would be an understatement to say that it is going through a facelift right now. That may be one of the biggest understatements so far in 2025. So my manual pin, now I know why I had to set a manual pin. I was trying to so maybe Google Maps did, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they are starting to get more timely, because I was wondering why it was so difficult for me to find the navigation point for Terminal B. I just wasn't able to find one, so I was setting manual pins. Well, now we know. So that's good to go. But it went to exactly where I put that manual pin. So now we know, for the time being, on that side of the airport, the Terminal A and B side, just use Terminal A. That is awesome. Awesome sauce. Let's see where it's taking us here. Going now. Interesting. All right. Moving our way across the highway here. It's been doing great on the high. There's almost nothing to talk about highway driving. It's gotten boring now on the highway. I mean, quite frankly, I don't even like I was going to say something, but no, I'm going to leave it alone. No, why not? I'll just say it. I don't work for him. They need to go to unsupervised on the highways for the most part. They really do. Like, and I don't know what their process is going to be for rolling out unsupervised. Like, maybe that's just not Elon's style. Elon is not a piecemeal person. Like, he's generally not one of those dudes that likes to do anything incrementally. He's like, if something needs to be done, you just do it. And anything incremental is like, you're going to hurt things in the long run by doing it incrementally. The minute you've decided a path, go do it. And my God, how many times in our lives and how many historical figures have you looked at? You would say, well, of course, had they just ripped off the Band-Aid and done it, everybody would have been great. Would have been better off. Unfortunately, things don't work that way, right? So, generally speaking, most things happen incrementally because we're human beings, right? We're just afraid of change. Some folks just aren't. And I think Elon, for better or worse, is one of those dudes. And so I say all that to say, like, yeah, I would say go to unsupervised on certain highways, certain parts of the highway. It's there. The highway's just gotten boring. They got it. They've got it together on most of these highways. But yeah, I just don't know if they're going to do it. I think they just want to lift it. Like, you're going to go from supervised to unsupervised, and that's it. So, but that's not my decision to make. Not little old me over here in Porter, Texas. That's what I would do, but I also don't run 8 different multi-billion or damn near trillion-dollar companies. So, and that's probably why. That's probably why I don't run those type of companies. All right, about to make a right turn here on Knox Road. Starting to lose some daylight. What was that saying? There was a movie back in it was either late 60s or early 70s. It was called The Cowboys. One of John Wayne's last flicks. I want to say it was either his next to last flick. It might have been his last one. I can't remember. When did John Wayne die? Or sometime in the early 70s. But, yeah, it's a great movie. And that was his big saying, is when he was trying to hurry the kids along, because these were like little kids he was having to use as cowboys, as, cow rustlers. And he would say, "We're losing daylight." And all of y'all are collectively like, "Great. That was great. Thank you for that info." All right. We've got oncoming vehicles on 494. And we've got another vehicle trying to turn left as well. But we're going to take that gap before let me give them a wave. And they did not give me a wave back. I think they didn't even look at me. They were looking at traffic, as they should. So, but we took that gap. I think we were there before they were, technically. Or maybe even if they were there before us, I think they sat at that intersection long. Regardless, we went at the right time. That was a very good timing selection for getting across that intersection. All right. They did not even go all the way up to the stop sign there. That's kind of weird. The car directly in front of us was, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on the video, but they were about a good 2 car lengths back from the stop. So I was like, I don't even know if we're going to register them being at the stop sign. That was kind of funny. But it ended up not being a big deal because we kind of got there all about the same time. Got a work truck to the left. Yeah, we're definitely losing the daylight now. But you can tell we still got the bright screen, so that means it's not totally down. Yeah, just a great day. God, Wally, I'm so happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure I'm going to have a critical intervention again one of these days. It's going to happen. I mean, it just does. But man, and you should never let your lows get too low or your highs get too high in anything in life. Investing, just life in general. And that goes for critical interventions. So obviously a couple of days ago we had a critical intervention deep, deep, deep in rural East Texas, out in Ainsworth, Texas, where we had a bus driver that put their stop sign extender out pretty late on a 65 mile per hour 2-lane highway. But nonetheless, you got to stop for those. Even if they're late with putting that extender out. Once that extender's out, you got to stop on a dime, whether you like it or not. And if that means making me uncomfortable, you make me uncomfortable. And it didn't do that. So we had a critical intervention. But that data is up to Tesla AI, and we'll get it good to go. So you can't get too low on a day like that. And here I am on one of the best days I've had with Tesla FSD. The very first time to get through my airport gauntlet. I will say this, it's not my first time to get through the airport without any interventions, because I've done that, but those aren't my gauntlets. That's like if I'm dropping somebody off and coming home, or picking somebody up and coming home, just going to one spot. Today we did a gauntlet. We went to several areas at the airport, both sides of the airport. We ran the gauntlet, baby. We couldn't do Terminal B ops. Oh, there we go. Sundown must be 6:14 p.m. But yeah, we put it through the gauntlet. And like I said, this was the first time ever for me to run a gauntlet where we've been to both sides of the airport, terminals A and B, what's left of it, terminals D, E, and C on the other side, and we came out 100% unscathed. Zero interventions of any sort other than me having to put in new pins. But again, like I said, that was my human error. So I'm not going to put that on the FSD. But it is a good reminder that if we were to have autonomous robo-taxi for the Houston airport today, like if we were wanting to do that today, you would need to have really good pins set up. All right, coming into my neighborhood street. And let's see what we do here. Curious to see what we do. I'm going to try to park. Do not look at my garage. All my kids have every one of their belongings in my garage. Don't judge me. Awesome. It parked me. Now, it didn't park me. Like the parking job it did the other night was great because it backed me in to where I didn't have, I was ready to charge. So I am going to need to get out of here and reverse back in so I can charge. And like I said, do not judge my garage. Everything you see there in front of me, one of my sons who's in college, that's his stuff. I think my niece, she's got stuff in there. There are 4 people, at least, with stuff in my garage. Now that's my oldest son's Earl Campbell jersey. If y'all see that, the number 34, the Tyler Rose. You got the American flag to the right. You're in Houston, Texas. You got to have 2 things in your garage. You got to have an American flag. Might want to have a Texas flag too, but we got the American flag and Earl Campbell somewhere. You got to have Earl. So, what a day. What a day. Best day ever at the Houston airport. We did it. We did it. I say we. Tesla AI did it. It's the first time. It's literally the first time. Now, the only thing I will say is it'll be a really, really beautiful day when I don't have to set manual pins anymore. Where where either all the construction is done at the airport, or Tesla has something set up where they have pins set up for you at the airport, and somebody's in charge of monitoring those pins, and if they need to change them, they get changed. But we don't have that right now. So right now, you have to do manual pins at our airport. And I did screw up a couple of those. But we course corrected, real time, and once we got to the place where it's supposed to be, FSD showed out. 0 interventions. First time. Awesome. Love it. All right, everybody. Well, I hope y'all are having a great evening. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week tomorrow. And since it'll be Friday tomorrow, I hope y'all have a great weekend. And I will talk to each of y'all soon. And remember, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me if you're on X, and like this and do whatever it is you want to comment and whatnot. But I love all of you. Even the ones that write me real crappy comments on YouTube. And Dan O'Dowd, well, never mind. Have a good weekend, Dan. Yeah, I'm not going to say, I don't love Dan. But I do hope he has an okay weekend, an adequate weekend. I don't wish him a good weekend, but I hope you have a reasonable weekend, Dan. He did something a couple of days ago that kind of got under my skin, but oh well. Didn't even give me the impressions. Come on, dude. But anyway, the rest of y'all, I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. I hope y'all have a better weekend than Dan O'Dowd by a long shot. And I love all of you, and I will talk to y'all again soon, probably tomorrow. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.